In partnership with TLT, Centre for Cities visited Bristol, Birmingham, Manchester and Glasgow to ask businesses how they felt about devolution to their city region. This fed into our Firm Views report, which looks at how business around the country feels about the government's approach to devolution. Here's a cross-section of what we heard.
I think devolution is absolutely a good thing for business and business in the region. And we want to get more powers and more control sort of in our own hands. And I think the idea is if we can do that, then we can use them more knowledgeably than central government may be able to do.
And when you speak to businesses, when you speak to a lot of the population, it's around, well, we just feel like we're lacking something, and that lacking something is really around that final bit of control to get that back from Whitehall, so local decisions are made by local people and it impacts in the local area.
And I always feel that London's almost a foreign country. It has its own economy, it has its own infrastructure. It's a capital city. We're never going to be that, but we can be better than we are if we're given the levers and the strings to do that.
We've picked up and observed the impact devolution may or may not have on the way businesses operate, and one of the things that really struck us was that there was a lack of engagement, particularly with clients, particularly with businesses, whilst there were some really important strategic decisions being taken about policy. Devolution is a very important thing when it comes to planning, where you're going to cite infrastructure and resource, and so again from that point of view we think both what our clients are saying and what we see ourselves, it's important to engage in the process, particularly whilst the details emerging as to what it may mean for us.
And our concern is that in the UK our productivity performance has been so poor. What are the differences between the UK and other countries? And one of those differences appears to be the balance of power between local and national.
I would certainly like to see in general a greater recognition of the importance of skills to the productivity debate, to the economic agenda debate. I think there's a lot of lip service paid to that. I'd like to see real investment in that.
I need to be assured that we have the capability and capacity within our infrastructure at a local level to be able to deal with the finances, to be able to be fleet of foot, to have a very clear understanding what our problems are and what are the right solutions to address.
I think the idea of a mayor in charge of all of everything is going to be quite tricky, but when we had the offer of the elected mayor, we were one of the cities that went for it. We got it. It was an independent mayor. We disposed of a lot of the politics then. So we need to be able to do something like that.
You know, we've been quite clear on this in the Chamber of Commerce that whatever the system looks like going forward, it's got to have that level of accountability in there, but it's also got to be much more efficient than that which it replaces.
And the simple question is, what happens if we don't get devolution, and therefore then Bristol, instead of being a key contributor to the UK, starts to become second division, and that investment that we're trying to create coming in is going elsewhere.
For more on the business take on devolution to city regions, check out our Firm Views report.